Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this Day Zen with Saj podcast. It is I, your host, sajeedahdahliah, and today I bring to you a very special episode. Today, we are going to be talking about what it means to look at life through an entirely different lens. For those of you that struggle with positive thinking and are always drawn to negative thoughts about every situation, you fail to see the positive thing that comes out of every single thing that happens to you. Well, this episode is for you. Everything in life is a lesson. It's up to you as a human being to decide if you want to learn that lesson or if you want to skip it and keep going on with your life. Now, what does it mean to look at life through an entirely different lens? I want you to look at every negative thing that happens to you and sit down and process it. Obviously, when something bad happens to you, you're going to feel some certain type of way. You're going to feel sad. You're going to either feel angry or, I don't know, you're just going to feel a negative emotion when something bad happens to you. But then, that aside, I want you to sit down and look at what exactly has this done for me. It's just like learning. When you learn something, you have to make mistakes. It's not possible for you to not make mistakes. Even though you're someone that's perfect, okay, let's just assume you do not make mistakes. Mistakes are things that are very, very important, especially when it comes to learning. If you are someone that is very dedicated to learning, when you make mistakes, it's either you look at it as a failure, as something that is going to motivate you and push you to do better. You look at it as a failure or an opportunity. You choose to look at it as a failure. You're not going to try and make that mistake right. You're not going to try and better that error. No, but if you look at it as an opportunity, it's going to change your entire mindset and you're going to want to do it better to get it right the next time. You can choose to keep telling yourself, oh, I can't do anything right. I can't even grasp this simple concept. Or you can choose to look at it from a different point of view and say, if I'm able to make these mistakes, well, I'm glad I made them early on, and I am glad I was able to identify them sooner than later. Beating yourself up over making a mistake is not going to do anything other than cause harm to you. It's going to make you doubt yourself and it's going to make you overthink about unnecessary things. So, you choosing to look at that mistake as a valuable learning opportunity is doing a lot of good to you. Now, let me give you guys an example of what it's like to look at life from a different lens or to look at every situation as a lesson. So, I have a ring. I have this little ring that I always wear. I put it on every day, everywhere I'm going to, and it's really small. And I've lost this ring 3 different times. I've lost my ring 3 times. I have other rings, but then this ring has sentimental value to me and I'm always wearing it. But then I've lost it 3 different times. And every time that I've lost it, I have found it. The first time I lost it, I was very careless with it. I kept it somewhere, and that day my nieces and my nephew came to the house. One of my nieces, the youngest, she loves playing with my jewelry and makeup. So I just left it there and she played around with it and it got lost. The first lesson I learned from that was to be very careful the way I keep my things, because she's a child. At the end of the day, if she misplaces my property, she's a child. She doesn't know any better. So when it comes to that, that was the lesson I learned. Rather than dwelling on the negative aspect and crying and being sad that, oh my gosh, this little girl came and misplaced my property. Why would she touch my things? No, I learned from it and I said from now on, anytime she's coming to the house, the things that I really am going to be bothered about, if they went missing or if they spoiled, I'm going to take them away from there, because she's a child at the end of the day. There's really nothing I can do about it except caution her. The second time my ring went missing, and that was the time I knew I was a very impatient person, because when it went missing, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't find it. I looked for it for one day. No, not even one day. I looked for it for less than an hour. And I said, I'm not looking again. It's gone. It's gone. I have left it. I just said, I'm not looking for it again. Next thing, I think some weeks passed or even a month, I was rearranging my vanity. And the drawer was like under the vanity. I was going through them. Guys, I found the ring in the most, I don't even know, craziest place, because it was a basket that all the things inside the basket, I have not even used them in a very long time. I found the ring there. And had it been I was patient enough to actually sit down and go through everything, because my ring is where my vanity is. It's on the table. Had even I was patient enough to actually go through everything, I would have found it the day I was looking for it. But I lacked that patience. And that was the lesson that I learned from that situation. And the third time that I lost that ring, this was last week. I lost this ring, and it was in the mosque in school. I went to pray and I left the ring there, and I was in a different block. I was in Ubangi. If you guys know now, you know how far Ubangi is from the mosque. You guys, the moment I realized that ring was missing, I walked I walked all the way from Ubangi. I was in the middle of doing the project that we were doing. I left Ubangi, I walked all the way to the mosque. That's like a 10 to 15 minute walk. And when I got that ring, luckily for me, it was exactly where I left it. I picked it up and I went back. I was so happy. And that the lesson I learned from that situation was I don't really that was when I started to appreciate these little things, because that was the moment it dawned on me that I am so attached to this ring that whenever it gets missing, it's either I'm sad, but then I always find it. I always find it, alhamdulillah. And it made me realize my other things that I don't have sentimental attachment to them. Why don't I go the extra mile to look for them? That was when I started to understand that I need to value more of my property, even the ones that I'm not attached to them. I need to value them because at the end of the day, they're mine, and it costs something to get them. Either it was a gift or I bought them with my own money. It is something, and I need to value them more. If you look at what I just said now, if you listen to everything I said, you would notice that never once did I insult myself or berate myself for losing that ring. No, I chose to look at the positive aspect of it. I didn't really let it get to me as much. Obviously, I was sad all three times that I lost the ring, and I was praying that I would find it again. But then I did not let it put me in a state whereby I would be sad and just miserable. No, I chose to look at the positive aspect of it every single time. And whenever I found the ring, I was always thanking God that I found the ring. And also, every time I found the ring, I would look at the lesson that I had learned from the whole situation. For you to be able to look at everything that happens to you as a lesson to learn, you have to be a very mindful person. You have to reflect on every single situation that happens in your life, be it good or bad. And before I talk about what reflecting does for you, I'm going to tell you what not reflecting does for you. If you're somebody that is not mindful and you fail to reflect on anything, you are going to develop a victim mindset. You'll begin to make yourself the center of every situation, and not in a good way, in a very bad way. You're never going to feel like you're wrong. You're going to feel like everyone is out to get you. Everyone either hates you or just doesn't want to see you happy. But then the underlying issue is actually you. You're not reflecting enough on everything that's happening in your life. What exactly are you doing wrong and what are you doing right? You're not looking at that. You're lacking awareness, and it's not going to do any good for you. Rather, it's going to drag you down, and it's going to make you really unhappy and miserable. Any little thing. My car broke down. Oh, why is this happening to me? I failed an exam. Oh, why is this happening to me? My parents said I can't go out. Oh, why is this happening to me? Someone stole my money. Oh, why is this always happening to me? Do you know sometimes little things, like literally the littlest things that will happen to you, are literally there to teach you little things, some things as little as gratitude. If you actually deep it, if you actually think about it, little things can happen to you just to teach you little things like gratitude, appreciating things, empathy. Some situations are there to teach you empathy, but you won't really see that because you always think something bad is happening to you or something bad is going to happen to you. By viewing every experience as a lesson, it helps you understand others better. It helps you become more empathic to the people around you. It helps you judge people less, and it helps you recognize that everyone is on their own learning journey. It's not just about you. You're not the victim. Sometimes you're just a bystander, and it's a hard pill to swallow, but sometimes you are just a bystander, and everyone is the main character in their own life, and not everything is about you. Sometimes you're put in situations whereby it's very easy to lose hope, and it's very easy to lose your sense of direction. But then having that mindset that everything is happening for you and not to you, I personally believe it makes you stronger, because in difficult times, when you focus on the lessons learned, it uplifts you and reinstates that sense of purpose that you lost. After all, we're all here because we want to improve our lives. You wouldn't be listening to this podcast if you did not want to make your life better. And I would not be recording this podcast if I did not want to help people make their lives better or make my life better at the same time. I mentioned this in one of my earlier episodes. As I am recording most of these episodes for you guys, I am learning from them. As this is a learning experience for you, it is also a learning experience for me. We are learning together and we are trying to become better together. And I don't think there's anything better than trying to become better. And you can only try to become better when you're mindful of the kind of situation you're in, when you're mindful of everything. By seeing everything as a lesson, you are cultivating a mindset that transforms challenges into opportunities for growth and development. This approach can lead to a more fulfilling and enriching life. You look around and you see so many people and you wonder why is it that they are so happy. Well, they are so happy because everything is a lesson, everything is a blessing. I remember back then I used to get so angry when my cousin would say, "Oh my gosh, this babe, you're so happy and you don't have any problems." And I would be so offended because obviously I am dealing with some stuff. But then I just choose to be happy and I'll be so offended because why would you be saying why would you be saying I'm so happy? Look at what I'm dealing with. Like it was so stupid. But then now that I'm actually realizing, yes, I am so happy. And alhamdulillah, I am so happy. And I'm just very grateful for everything I have. And I'm so grateful for my life, and I'm so grateful that I'm able to learn these lessons every single day, and I'm so grateful that I'm able to reflect on every situation and be mindful on everything. So now anytime my cousin tells me, "Oh, Saj, you're the happiest person I know," I'm just like, "Thank you, I try my best." Well, that is all I have for you guys today. If you have any questions, be sure to send me an email, which is sajeedahdahliah@outlook.com. I'm going to put that down below. Or you can send me a DM at the Stays and with Saj podcast on Instagram. I'm looking forward to your questions, and I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Bye!